Oh, hi guys. Welcome to Bunny Designs. Long time no see. I hope to find everybody well. I just thought under the current things that's happening, that I would show the simplest way to colour, fairly cheapish, simplest way to colour for all sorts of reasons. This is the system that I used when I was my husband had his stroke. It was my little book of watercolors, but it was the very simple way, using a Derwent #1 brush, a little bit of sponge and a little bit of color. Now I'm going to take these out of this particular box because it's got quite dirty, and I've obviously put the second half of it, so there's going to be a bit of a rattle, because what I'm going to do is go through this. This is a cleaner one. It's a new one that I've not used. I took the insides out, but what I'm going to do is, as I take them out of here, and again, make this the simplest way. You can touch and go, or you can mix colors, whichever's easiest for you, whichever you want to do. The other thing is, as I go, I'm going to tell you what colours are in this traditional Winsor & Newton set. I always bang on about 8 colours, but I think these 12 colours are the best, the most you need. And yeah, we all love full sets. We're obsessed with having full sets of everything. But to get the best, I think this is the simplest way to actually do that. So I'm just going to pop that on there. I'm also just going to say hi. Thank you. Hubby's doing his usual thing, refilling my cups of coffee and tea. Thank you. Thank you. I'll leave that on because I'll drink it later. Thank you. No, thank you, darling. No, thank you, darling. No, thank you, darling. So, hubby's got a cough. I've had a funny cough, so I've been at home for a week. So I've not been to the Abbey. And I think to get over this crisis, I think we need to kind of look at things like this. You know, you can buy these online. I'm not sure what the post thing is at the minute. Buy things online, get them delivered, have a play. We're going to need to keep ourselves more occupied. I don't think TV and videos are going to do that, especially if half the family has got to be away from the other half of the family. We need to do something that we can do on our own, and this is something. Or you can sit on the sofa, obviously not touching other people's, but if you have your set in a bag, buy. Oh, I've still got, bear with me a second, I still got my usual just bear with me a second. I've got my usual just bear with me a second. What do I call this? Logitech, that's what I'm looking for, the word. I have a new, it's an old style laptop, but it's a touch, and I thought it might be a little bit easier to use. Let me just think. I've got everything as should be. Probably not. Let's have a look. Oh, I haven't got chat. Oh, that's a bit disappointing, isn't it? Why haven't I got chat? Oh, I haven't realised that I hadn't got chat, so there's no point having a live show. The other thing I was going to try and do is, sorry guys, I haven't got live chat. Sorry, I'm going to have a bit of a play. I'm going to have to maybe keep this on automatic focus, and once I get my act together, it's taken me 2 hours to find this. Just let me type in here Logitech, if it let me. It's there, and I've missed it. There it is. I'm just having again. This is why I stopped making videos, because it was getting rather silly. So that's there. Logitech Cam. That's what I want. I just need to take it off automatic. I've been trying for about 3 hours to get it onto OBS, but my systems are so slow it won't do that. Bear with me 2 seconds. Put my phone on. I might be able to look at chat. It's possibly the best idea. Oh, I am live. Oh, wow. I'm here. Oh, hi, Pamela B. Hi, Sandy. Dodie Den, welcome to Bunny Designs, Art Mingle. Yeah, I'm back, only just, but I am back. Both saying, now try and get chat to work. I'm not sure why it won't work. So I'll use that on my phone. So again, what I thought I'd do is just this really simple method of touch and go. The other thing, if it's a pan, you can spray to make this touch and go system just that little bit better, but your colors will be stronger. So what I like to do is just use a brush. Now this is quite an old one, but the Derwent, it's kept its shape. It just looks a bit stained, but it is a clean brush. And touch and go. But I'll go through the colors in a second. I'm just desperately trying to sort out this. I think we might not have to do this for the first video. So the first thing I want to do is going to be a bit of a rattle. I am. Oh, it's on top chat. All the system seems to have changed. YouTube obviously go away for 6 months and the entire world changes, but let me just see if I can get back onto here. It won't let me even see chat now, which is a bit disappointing. One last go. Oh, the sun has just come out. I have the windows open. I have the door shut. I've had a bit of a cough for a while. So I didn't go to the Abbey last week, and then hubby started with a bit of a cough. So I've grounded him. He's not happy about it, but I've grounded him. And I'm sure it's a very, very scary thing. And woke up this morning with a croaky voice. But we've just got to kind of hang on in there and and just bear with me, guys. I'm just going to have a mouthful of lovely coffee that hubby's just bought me. So welcome to Bunny Designs. I'm afraid I can read chat on my phone. That's what I'm doing at the second. I'm reading chat on my phone, so I can kind of do that a little bit until I can get rid of this silly. I have this kind of new. There is a reflection, and it's just getting on my nerves at the minute. So it's a reflection. And for some silly reason, it's not letting me do anything. So we'll forget that and just carry on as normal and just accept that it's not going to be a particularly good video. No, my usual standard. So oh, maybe I've found chat. Just bear with me a second. It says unable to use chat at this time. I don't understand why it won't let me. But that's fine because I can see it on there. So before I do anything else, I'm going to go through these colors. This set is about, you can get it for £29. You don't want to be spending £14.50, which I've seen it advertised for, because it's a very basic system. Now these are full pans. You can get the 48 smaller ones, which is quite nice if you, again, the touch and go system, but I kind of like this. We've got a big expanse here and here, and we're not going to work that wet. This is watercolouring. This is colouring on normal pages, so we really don't want that. Oh, hi, Sandy. Thank you. I've got, if I just put this, it might make it better. That might make it a little bit better. Oh, somebody's done something to... Right. Oh, we've got some bark. So without, as I say, anything else, let's just have a look. Oh, hi, Art Mingle. You're welcome, darling. You're welcome. Anything to get us all creative, even more creative than we usually are. So for some reason the white's popped out, but if you know me, you know I'm a bit of a white and black girl, not really into those colours when we're colouring in, really. So I'll go for these 24 colours. These are the colours. I think this is a traditional set. So this is what I would think the best set to have in order to make it very easy to make other colours. So we have a lemon yellow. We have a cadmium yellow. This one should be gamboge. Now you can, oh, so this is cadmium yellow. It's a bit deeper, but I would think cadmium yellow normal is between. Is that Chinese green, that one? Did I say that one? No, that's a lemon yellow. Now, if you mixed a little bit of this is cadmium orange with the cadmium yellow, you would get the gamboge, which is a beautiful color. And yes, it's nice to have the set, but you can make all these beautiful colors that are in between, these tertiary colors that are in between. And sometimes making your own, it's just nicer anyway. I know that the saturation and the purity of the color diminishes the more times you mix it, but I think for a color page, you have a continuity in your page. All your colors are connected, and so you don't have a stark color next to a different color. They are intermingled. So this one is the cadmium red, and I think that's cadmium red pale. This is cadmium red hue, which is the traditional one, and then I think this one is deep cadmium. Now really I would just add a cadmium red, ideally. Elysian crimson, of course, obsessed with that one. This one has purple lake, another beautiful color, but this is ultramarine. So ultramarine and Elysian crimson, you get purple lake. So these are all possible colors you can make, but this is the easiest way. We have a pinky red and we have a purple. If anybody's got any questions, pop them in chat. I can read them. I say I'm reading them on my phone. So that's an intense blue. Then we have cobalt blue, which is a bit cooler. And then, of course, another one of my favorites, cerulean blue, is the coolest blue. So you get the brightest greens with these two colors. They put sap green and they put viridian. I'm not really a viridian fan. I would prefer hooker's green, but I'll live with it because it's in this lovely set. We then have yellow ochre, I believe, which again is another gorgeous color. Lots of sandstones, lots of bricks. There's raw sienna and burnt sienna. And then we have, oh, sorry, that's red brick, beg your pardon. That's bright red or red brick, and it's called Indian red. And again, that's the brick red. It's already made for you. That's the burnt sienna, so I'll keep that in there. Actually, I'll probably put that one there. Then we've got the raw umber and burnt umber, and Payne's grey is in this particular set. But I don't like Payne's grey. I like using a very dark nutty brown, so a burnt umber or a Van Dyke brown or a nut brown, a very cool dark brown. Mix that with French ultramarine and you're going to get some gorgeous blue greys, and then the more brown you put in, you're going to get more dark brown greys. So although there's Payne's grey here, I much prefer to mix my two colors. If it's here, you can put a touch of brown to it to get the browner tones and a touch of French ultramarine to get the bluer greys, the gorgeous deep dark greys that we like. But it's in the set, I will use it. And the last one, of course, is black, ivory black. There's lamp black, which is the blackest black. Lamp black is fairly black. Some of the other blacks, when you water them down, you'll see they're grayer. But for our purposes, if you mix cadmium red with French ultramarine and a lemon yellow or a cadmium yellow, you are going to get a black anyway. A black of sorts. The more red you put to it, you get a reddy black. The more yellow, you get a cooler greener grey black, and then the more blue, you get a bluer black. And I love those blacks, but we're not waffling today about colour. These are the 24 colours minus the white. So I've popped those in there. Sorry about the rattle. Oh, and squeaky. So this is my touch and go system. I have a sponge or a baby wipe. I recycle all my face wipes. Somewhere there should be a big box of face wipes. And I have 2 packets with my face wipes. I have the full one and I have the empty one. And I do another thing as well. When I've used my face wipe, I just go along the back of the bed. I have a Laura Ashley metal bed frame, and I just go along the back collecting the dust with the damp face wipe after I've used it. Obviously, I don't do that if I've got makeup on, but if I'm just doing a nighttime, just a refresh or a morning, I do that. And then I put so that does 2 things when you've got asthma. It just gets that dust down a little bit. I dust the lamp as well. Just a bit of a touch, just to pick up the big bits next to the bed. And then I put it into the empty face wipe plastic container, and they eventually dry out because I don't put the lid on, but it means I can reuse them. Yes, they've got a little bit of my skin on them. Yes, they've got a bit of dust on them, but that's not going to damage your work. If you were doing a professional watercolor, then you would want lint free, dust free, and everything else free. But for watercoloring or for just ordinary watercolor work, the face wipes are recyclable that way, and one will last you quite a long time. I've probably got about 6 packs now. The other thing is I'm going to pass it on to my daughter when she does acrylics, because she can probably go through one of those, and it's just a way to recycle. The other thing I've done is switched to a couple of, been buying a few vintage sets, and they have the sponges with them, or the cloths, and I think I might go back to that if it's watercolor. But just for now, this is going to do. The Derwent #1 brush is the best. I've tested hundreds of them, and this is the best one for that, just activating the tip to get just the amount of water, not to ruin our watercolor page, our pages, because they're not watercolor. So I've got a little bit of mixing space if I want, and I've got this watercolor brush and a bit of a sponge or a bit of a kitchen roll. Kitchen roll tends to disintegrate a lot. If you use a face wipe, a baby wipe, the little hand wipes, I take those with me. Anything just to catch that when we've cleaned the brush, because we need to clean the brush every time and we haven't got a pot of water. So this is a lovely system to have by the TV. And everybody needs their own. I wouldn't suggest somebody touching one and then somebody touching another one. You all need your own little set if we're going to stay safe. I've been sent by the lovely Melody these beautiful poster size Kerby Roseanne books, and they have, there's Imagimorphia and Animorphia, and basically the original one had the spine and we couldn't get into that horrible crease, so they brought out these, exactly the same paper, it's still just as thin, but now we have a beautiful surface, especially the fact that it's on a really hard back. So we don't need a cushion tray. Cushion trays are brilliant because they raise things up to us, and we can have that with our paints next to us and our little water brush. But this is quite possible to open it up and use it in this space. If anybody's got any questions, pop them in caps, because it don't seem to have. Just give me a second. Oh, let me see if I can change that. Let me see if I can change it to live chat. I might see more. Oh, hi, Suzanne. Welcome to Bunny's Designs. I thought I'd lost my nerve a bit. Very, very quickly before we get on with this, I shall just, I've got two things to do. The first thing I've got to do is, oopsie doops. The first thing I have to do oh, I just touched my phone and lost everything now. Silly girl. So hi guys, welcome to Bunny Designs. I've come back. Well, I was thinking about coming back anyway. I've been sorting my room out so that when I'm child minding, looking after Felicity, I can still do some artwork, which I haven't been able to do. She's 7 months old now, and I'm unfortunately at the moment I can't see her. I was supposed to go look after her, and she was supposed to come and see me for quite a few. And I lost all my photographs from my internet, but that's my little pudding. I call her my little Yorkshire pudding, but she's not. She's Lancastrian, but I call her my Yorkshire pudding. I did attempt with the iPad a pencil drawing, and then when Apple people uploaded everything, I lost it because it wouldn't reload. It wouldn't do the new system that they put in. I lost thousands of photographs. I lost all the baby photographs. Apple was not my friend, and I will not be buying anything from them again because they blamed me for not backing it up, but I blame them for the fact that the system shouldn't have crashed. This was a £1,200 piece of kit. Did not expect it to crash after 1.5 years, but that's my beef. So this is Little Monster. Growing up, she's been here. We've been so privileged because my daughter went back to work. We were so privileged that I got to see her quite a lot, whereas normally grandparents wouldn't. Not much has happened here since then. We've still got the lost boy, our little Alfie, but he won't be appearing because of the new rules. I've been frightened to make videos because of the new rules of YouTube. I don't know if anybody else has felt that. So just trying to find some photographs of the little baby. So as I say, at the moment she's growing, and she's a little doll, bless her, and she's on solid food, so we've been doing that as well. We've still got the same amount of pets. We'd rescued 2 from Romania, so there's nothing particularly happening on that front, but I can't show the fur babies because it becomes a children's video, and then we've got all that kerfuffle with YouTube, and that really frightened me because I don't have enough money to pay for one fine, and I have 900 and some videos on, so you know that would be kind of really drastic for me for that. So it really frightened me making videos, and it's a shame you can't see Jessie and Bungle and all the other pets, but that's how it's going to have to be because it doesn't become a child's one then. Oh, thank you guys, thank you. Doodle, you just ordered. Oh, did you order the books? Because there's a wonderful Melody sent me these amazing poster books. I'll do a quick flick. I've done about 3 photographs. There's 3 videos, I think, of this side. I've moved everything upstairs. It's taken weeks and weeks and weeks. And my bedroom is a combination of a creche and an art studio, and because I was a bit poorly last week, I brought my stock pot up. I've got a couple of pots that I used to make when I was really poorly with arthritis, and so they can make easy meals in these one pot things. So I'm on the other channel. I will be using that because I've got things in my bedroom I can make. I can make a banchan. Apologies for the pronunciation. It's basically a little bit of onion fried off, because this little machine will fry first, and then you can add I usually use some turmeric, garlic, and ginger, just a little bit, celery and radish. In English, I use English radish and English celery. Chop it up fine, fry that off a little bit, and then I will put some stock in there and some rice. No, I won't, I beg your pardon. I use cooked rice, mix it up, and either leave it like that for vegan or put an egg in it. And that is quite a nice, simple, quick meal. My other pot is the pot that I make the rice in. Then if I want the plain rice, I can just put another little pot. I can put some honey in it, or some Canadian maple syrup, or maple syrup. So there are things you can do, and I think we need to be a bit more inventive. My stock, because I've been ill for a while, I've not been downstairs for a long time. I used to think I could feed the village for a week, because I had 20 pots, glass jars full of pasta, about 8 jars full of rice, and the really big 2-pound jars. But and I was normally like that, and I've done the opposite. Everything's gone down to, with the girls come home, man, they've got no pasta, and things like that. So I haven't stocked up. I don't go shopping. I may have to bring the pantry back up to scratch, so that I can make the meals quite simply. But the girls and hubby are fending for themselves. Oh, hi, May. Anybody else popping in? Susie says, my boy. Yeah, your boy is getting a bit old now, bless him. He's 7, which is a good age for a King Charles. And he's doing the spinny thing. And we're going to try and get people not to breed the dogs with big brains and little heads, because it's very bad for them. Alfie's not been like that before, but he is. Anyway, back to art. We'll have I'll do a video and we'll have a bit of a waffle next time. But thanks, guys. It's wonderful to be back. So I've got this system here. It can be a little pot of paints. It can be one like this, just a little one. I bought for my daughter the Derwent Inktense watercolors, and I think, although well, they were £25 each, they've come down now. I think that 24 set for colouring is the perfect set, because they're very intense, they're very strong, but they're a watercolor. So we've kind of got a combination of the hydrous and the peerless, but we've got it in a pan. And then if you use the #1 brush, and I've put mine, I'm going to do another video very shortly of how I've sorted mine out. I bought my daughter them for Christmas, and she's not used them yet. So I bought a traditional Winsor Newton watercolor, but I bought the one that you can put the Derwent brush in, because this brush is quite chunky. And the idea is that when we shut the set, we've got the paints, we've got the little brush that comes with it, sorry, the little sponge that comes with it, and a brush, and it's a contained size. Unfortunately, I've popped mine somewhere because I've been moving things all day. But that is the perfect little set. And as I say, they are so bright, they are so gorgeous, these really bright colors, that I think that would be quite good. If anybody's got any questions, pop me in caps, guys. So welcome back. Thanks, guys, for stopping by. Hope everybody's holding on in there. I thought what I might do is we need something where people can get on 24/7, really, because as Australia's going to sleep, we've got England, and then America's waking up, and then Australia's going to sleep. And that's roughly, I know I'm just picking on those three, but it means that if we had somewhere open, I'm going to have a word with the internet company, that I can leave the channel open even though I'm not live. People can chatter to each other. I don't know if you think that's a good idea. Oh, well, I'm sad to hear that in one way, Suzanne, but very happy in another way, and I'm sure you'll understand that. That would be that's very good. But we've all, especially a lot of our ladies and gentlemen are a little bit older, not as well as a 20-year-old. So I think we have to kind of think a little bit better. I've been at home purely because I had a bit of a funny nose. It wasn't even a runny nose. It was just a really weird nose. That wasn't normal to me. Now, I have woken up this morning with a bit of a voice. My daughter's been out to Nottingham to see her boyfriend. He started with a thing this morning. She's staying away from me. But obviously, hubby's going near her, then he's coming near me. And bless him, he turned over the other day and coughed in my face the other morning. He didn't mean to do it. He was just waking up. So I've nearly banished him to be downstairs, but then decided I couldn't really do that. So, right, let's have a quick flick of this. There will be some pages missing because I haven't touched this since I was in the conservatory. And we've still got our Bungle, and Bungle is still pooping and weeing everywhere. He's doing it in the trays where my art stuff was. He's done it everywhere. So I decided that it was time he could have the conservatory and I'll move out. And if you're wondering who this boy is, it's our beautiful Bungle that was snotty. I've just very quick, this is Jessie. She's still doing lovely well. She loves Bungle. She's downstairs. We've still got the wonderful Betsy, who was the sad cat that was found with all her kittens. And we've still got we've got Frankie. She's turned out to be an absolute bother boy. She's a terror. If I don't mention that I put these on, I don't think kids will watch this show. Of course, there's the boy. He's looking a bit older now. He's still naughty. He's still not brilliant, as we know. But I wanted to show you the picture of our Bungle because he's adorable. And it's not his fault. He's a bit of a snotty boy. So that makes him probably not particularly very well at certain times. And he's an absolute sausage. But I decided that he needs the room a little bit more than I do. So he's now got the conservatory, which can be bleached and sorted. So that's where we are at the moment with him, because we don't have a choice. We really don't have a choice. We can't do anything about him. He's just Bungle. I did have a beautiful photograph of him, but I can't find it at the minute. So I might just get my in a second. Oh, Doodle Den says she's also bought the set of Inktense and put them into a larger one. Especially for this, when you're doing touch and go. I think I might do that if I stay on a little while. I might do that. I don't know who comes on and who doesn't. I'm really been out of everything. I might do that for the next video because they are actually quite handy. So if I do a quick flip, and I can't remember what I've used on these, because I have a memory like a sieve. But as you see, the paper's the same, but it's just made things so much easier than that horrible crease in the side. I am still working on my mushrooms. Again, I think that one had the crease down the middle, so you couldn't get this lovely flow. And of course, when you think about the 24 colours in the Inktense colours, they're very vibrant, and we've got colours that we can either be very fanciful, but we can also tone them down. And because there's 24 colours, there's thousands, millions of colours. I still go on about just having 8 colours. I did find some Daniel Smith actually, but I'm a bit of an old fuddy-duddy. I like my traditional Winsor & Newton, and I now have so many sets of paints I can't justify buying any more. So again, Again, this one, again, when you're looking at things, you decide what you want to do. I see greys and mottles, and I love my graphy tint, but I've also worked out a way to do those grungy colours. So you don't have to go out and buy Derwent watercolour pencils, even though the set, I think there's only 24 in it. It's a fantastic set. I love it. You don't have to do this. I want to make I have a lot of things. I've been drawing for a lot of years, and I've still got things from 20-30 years ago. So I do have a lot of things, but we don't need those things. And I really I don't like enabling people to do that unless it's something that I think they will use a lot, they will get a lot out of. I'm a bit of a reusable girl. I just found this piece of paper here and thought, what on earth was I doing? And I've just realized I was doing backgrounds. Do you remember I said I don't like coloring in backgrounds because I don't use pencils? And if we were to watercolor all this, it would end up blistering or going funny. Oh, thank you, Pamela. Thank you. Yes, what I might do, I think I might get away with it. What do you think, guys? If I do the cats and the dogs not at the beginning or the end and not mention it, but they'll be in there somewhere. I think I might get away with that. So what I've done with this one is I've traced, not sure what the white's going to do. I've traced certain things and then reversed them and reversed them again. So the pencil is on both sides. Now, if you do the scratchy pencil method like this, you never see what you've got, and you can't do it double. You can't. So I could make this spider's web that way, or I could turn it over and use it there. I can then use a little bit over there. And what that does is it stops having to do a lot of background with a watercolor brush, because that's the one thing it will not do. It will a little bit, but you get that little buckle, and it doesn't bother me, but it might do some people. And the other thing is, I like white backgrounds. I like detailing things and having a lovely white crisp background. You're welcome, guys. Oh dear, broke a croak. So let me know what you think about the idea of leaving the channel open so people can get to speak to anybody any time of the night and day, and have a natter, no matter where they are on the planet. What do you think about leaving the channel open? As I say, you might not have my voice going on or anything going on, but at least you'll be able to communicate with people, because I think if we are to self-isolate, I think a lot of people at 2 in the morning are going to get a bit and I certainly probably will be up at 2 o'clock in the morning. If I'm able to stream, it depends what happens with hubby. If he's no better, I might banish him to downstairs, in which case I'll be able to stream. So I'll have a word. I'm going to have a word with the company and see if they'll up my thing so I can do that. But there is a couple of videos on backgrounds. Most of the things I do, there is a couple of videos with different types of watercolor. So we have the chameleons there, and these are perforated, so you can take them out. And what I tend to do is turn this over. Oh, actually, no, I don't turn it over. I use it as a background, and then again, you can move it. It's not the easiest thing to move when it's fixed in here, but because it's perforated, you can move you. And I'm always saying, you've got to be comfortable. You've got to have this lovely wrist action throw that's comfortable. There's no point doing this or doing this, because it won't be comfortable, and you won't be able to do it for a long time. And watercolouring with a Derwent watercolour brush, you can do it 12 hours, no problem. Because the wonderful thing about it, and I really worry about in 10 years' time, people who are using pencils, and I've nothing against pencils, people who are colouring in with pencils are going to get a repetitive strain. They have to do it. I have one, and I've used lots of things, and I haven't done pencil work, but it's that nipping and repetitive grip. And the beauty of this brush is all the bounce, all that, you see, when you're using a pencil, but when you're using a brush, all the stress is in the bounce of the brush, and that's why it works. Now my watercolouring I do with a rigger, and I love that, but this is my touch and go system. This is, you don't need anything, any skills, you just need to practice keeping into your books. I'm also going to do for people that don't want to buy a colour book, scrappy bits of paper, I'm going to do the really simple black and white, use a pen, a pencil, a biro to do it's a kind of, and I shall get into trouble for saying this, it's a kind of Zentangle, but it's patterns within patterns, and then you've got the black and the white. You can use the colors, but it's just for people to get going. I made this book. I may try and make another book with the Copic stitch, but it hurts my hands. Sorry, I'm going off the subject, guys. I'm a bit of a waffler. This is one I did because I didn't have anything else with me. I did drew round some shapes. It was a stencil. That one is my little doodle, if you recognize it, but you can do it with anything. This particular one I made because it's made with layout paper, which is nearly as thin as Chinese expensive paper, and then I have a lined paper, and this is how I made the book. And there's, I think there's about 600 and some pages in that, but it's really thin. It's only 2 fingers thick. Oh dear. They seem to be a lot better, thank you, Suzanne. So again, drawing colors, that was a bit of watercolor. This is black and white. Anything to doodle, any doodle, any mark. Some people are circles, some people are curves, some people are geometric, and that's why I love this pencil, because when you look through your thin page, you can see the lines on the one behind, so you've already got a kind of a stencil behind. But any doodle to just keep ourselves occupied and reduce the stress levels. One of my main ones that I love is, which I don't think is in this book, stitches, cross stitches, black, all kind of cross stitching, and stitches, geometric stitching. I've forgotten the particular. There's this, oh, I know it's Jacobean, I think, and there are geometric shapes that you sew in. Well, let's not do that. Let's just do lines and make them, and it's a pattern. Then you can fill it in, or you can make it even more complicated, and it's a doodle, so it's not stressful, and that's what we need. Oh, hi Kenny, welcome to Bunny's Designs. Thanks for popping by, guys. Oh, my mushrooms. Now, it's so funny. I've been really poorly and I've done no colouring because I didn't want to do any colouring unless I made a video. But I have 2 things happened. Oops, I bought this. And the other thing is, if you don't have a big space for colouring, use a plate. I mean, I was lucky enough to find this for 50p, but use a white plate. Go to a charity shop, thrift shop, buy a plain vintage pot plate, and you can really, it's a lovely surface to work on. I've really gone off plastic, but just to show you how simple it is, I've gone to this one. But I really do not like plastic. I've gone back from plastic. But I have been playing with my mushrooms, and then again, and that's the cloth that's somebody I got, and it's shrunk, that you get in some watercolor things. So a dishcloth, sew a dishcloth up, fold it up, cut it up, and then sew around the edges because dishcloths fray. Any kind of cloth that you can use wet. So this was one of my doodles the other day, with a pencil, which is something that I don't often do, but I didn't have anything else with me and I was on the train. The other thing, I've been having a wonderful time going all over the country on the train, which is probably not the best thing to do. So I've been doing these doodles, and as you say, morphing things. And the other thing that happened, these are my little mushrooms. The other thing that happened, I've been going back to my little doodle as well, my flowers, and my Bible journaling. But I bought a pen. I haven't had this pen for a while. I've had another one very similar, never used it. But this one, and I've just thrown the thing away. It's a Pentel. It's a GFKP Japan. It's a brush pen, and I've never had one before. And I was with hubby, and I thought, you know, I don't need anything else. But this is a PF10, and I thought, you know, I'm going to buy this. I'm going to buy this. Oh, I got hubby to buy it because I'd forgotten about being a bit looser. I kind of get a bit kind of do, and I've only done one thing in here. My poor little attempt at colouring my little mushrooms, my mushroom houses. But it's funny how, again, the mushrooms came out of something, and this, I was really not particularly poorly, but I had, because I'd been out, my arthritis blew up. Must be the only book I didn't pick up. I took this little book with me as well. This is my old book that has all my notes in for my degree course. So I decided that I was going to turn it upside down and use it again. Now, this is not very good, but I want to show you it's the fact that a new pencil can make you go, or a new pen can make you go in different directions. And I quite like the bit of a loosey bit that's here, and it's thick and thin, and so sometimes you're influenced by new things that you buy. It might, and I did see a very thick pencil, which I was very tempted to get, but obviously pencils are not really for me, for my hands. But this is such a bouncy brush. Again, there's no, I can do this work without having to think about a pen, because all the bounce is in the lovely soft brush at the end. So I'll be doing a video about that pen. Very impressed with it, and it's easy to use, and it's very organic, because it's bouncy. So sometimes it does have a bit of a mind of its own. So have you got any questions? So thanks, guys, for stopping by. I hope I haven't forgotten it, but if I have, welcome back to Bunny's Designs. I've been babysitting. I've been childminding and babysitting, so I've had Felicity, but I was in the process of, I've moved everything up before the health scare, because of the rescue dogs. We can't have Felicity downstairs, so I was always going to be banished upstairs anyway. So I will do a couple of videos about just making doodles up. We don't have to buy a colour book if we can't afford it. I want to stress, this is not to put strain on buying expensive things. It's purely for therapy. That's what I'm trying to get at. Sorry if I'm waffling, guys. My Yorkshire waffle. Oh, this is what I thought, guys, that, you know, it's nice for everybody to have a natter. And as I say, if somebody can't sleep at 2 o'clock, somebody might be awake at 3 o'clock at the other side in the afternoon at the other side of the planet. I'm going to have a word. Let me write that down, because brain of a sieve. I shall write that down. I have been up and down the country by collecting Victorian things, and then the only thing I let come, it came all broken up. I wasn't very happy with that, but never mind. So I'm going to definitely just put that there and put right. I think actually it probably will do it as well. Oh, thank you, Suzanne. It's the same camera. It's the same camera. And actually, I set up, I say I've been doing this for about 3 hours. My laptop, that's very, very powerful, it didn't work. So hopefully. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I did fall in love with her. And she's such a good baby. She is such a good baby. Sorry, guys, I'll just very quickly show everybody, and then I shall get on with colouring. I promise. I shall put a note to say lots of waffle before we see. Here she is. She's absolutely scrumdiddlyumptious, and she is such a good girl as well. But again, she's inspired me to use this is more like a, not quite a charcoal, but I used a different pen on Procreate, and luckily I took a photograph of it. Now I don't think it's going to be any good because I can't do it, but she's an absolute delight, is Felicity. So again, something else that's happened that's inspired me to do something else, and so we're always evolving, and I think that's quite good. And I think I was thinking that years ago, if you broke your leg, they used to say, oh, well, learn a language, because you've got to be up for 6 weeks so you can learn a language in 6 weeks. I've been tidying drawers out, or going through your emails, which probably would take most people 2 days to do. There are lots of things that need doing in the house that we put off that we could do. Decluttering. Anyway, I'll waffle about that on another show. Sorry, guys. I will get back now to colouring. I will get back to colouring. So I need a page. Let's find a page. And so this is Animorphia. So, of course, we've got all the animals. I like busy pages because, as I say, I do really like busy pages. I'm a bit of a busy pagey girl. So, and again, that's the black and white monkey, actually. So I think that could be kind of black, whites and greys. Sometimes you look at a page and you get instant ideas, and sometimes you just have to walk about. Oh, hi, Cheshire Cat. Welcome to back. Oh, thank you, Kenny. Green lizards, brown monkeys. Again, I think what I would do is trace some of these and turn them over, move them around so that it looks fuller like this. This page would be quite okay. Oh, sorry, guys, we've got the sun. I shall move over in a second. Got a tiger, the green parrot, the deer, stags, the rhino. Haven't done the rhino even in the other book, so that's one. This looks quite nice. I might do the two stags. Again, stealing birds and things from in the sky from other pages and putting them on here is another idea to fill them up. There's quite a few whale ones as well. Oops. This is the butterfly that I did, and again, I think that was Graphitint. Looking at the colours, I love the Graphitint. I was going, I don't know if I made a video of this one. I think I did. I love these colours. Really love these colours, and because it's a pencil, I think this method, I scratched a bit of, if I remember rightly, scratched a little bit of colour where Kerby's put the dark, and then used I don't know if I used the water brush, I can't remember, and then diluted it out so we get highlights and lowlights, and it was one of my favorite pages. Was the butterfly. I started on this one. I wasn't kind of keen on this, but maybe if I put some more mushrooms and a little bit of background, it might come back. I think I did this one in, I did this one in pastel. Again, I'm going to bring my pastels upstairs as well. Aha. Now I started this one. I can't remember what I did. I've done one mushroom. That's all I've done. I've done one mushroom. So I obviously started that. Sorry guys, these are upside down. And then this one feels a little bit scratchy. So you can be bold or you can be pale. We've got pastel colors. We can add the complementary color to make it grungy, or we can go light to dark. There's so many variations with just one set of paints. So let me have a look at this one. I think I said I was going to do the stag, didn't I? Oh, I could do the horse. I think I'll do the horse. I think I'll do the horse, guys. I'll do the horse because he happens to be here, if that's okay. I'll put that on there. I'm just going to sort the camera out for a second and the light because the sun shines. I've got the window open. I've got the window and the door closed, and I was doing that before they actually suggested that. So, right, bear with me a second, guys. Just going to get rid of the sunlight, unfortunately, and get the charger for there. There'll be a lot of creaking because the knees are bad. Oops, my coat's stuck. And such a shame to shut out the sunlight. But there we go. One last job. That's better. So if I put my phone on charge, I'll be able to read the chat. So there's always one way of doing it. Thank goodness. Yeah, right. It was almost a good idea. So hi guys, thanks for stopping by. I hope I've not missed anybody out. If I have, give me a shout. The hairs. The hairs. The hairs. Honestly, today is been quite a challenge today. Right, just put that there. Right. So I just need to possibly adjust the camera. The other thing you have to be comfortable. I'm going to have to leave my hand in there. Let me just see if I can find this one. The only thing I want to do is to turn off anything I want to do is to turn off. That's better. It's to turn off. bear with me 2 seconds. I know it's around here somewhere. It's a long time since I've been on this site. I'm trying to get it off automatic. Oh, sorry guys, can't get it off. It's going to drive everybody crackers. Apologies. Sorry guys, I'm just having a spot of bother. Goodness gracious. Because it will drive you insane if you have to watch that. Right, we'll open that up. I don't like to cross. You can just pop this out of that, so that's quite nice sometimes. I shall sit that just in front, and then you can see what I'm doing if I do that. Now then, what happens if I identify? Oh, I've done to my chat, guys. Sorry. Yeah. So my touch and go system. I like my brush fairly. It's clean, but fairly dry, because I find if I just activate the tip, I get the nicest amount of colour. So you can spray that wet, but I'm just going to have a go dry first. In fact, so we've got some nice roses. I also love the fact that the only brush, I think, that the top goes on the end, so you never have to look for your top. This is the #1 Derwent brush. It normally is about £8 on its own, but I think you can get it for £6. £10 you get the 3. There's a fatter one and then a wedge, so it's always quite nice. Now this might be a different color because let's see what's going to happen here. You see, that's quite pale, but it's quite dry, is that? So if we can put that on there if we want. I do like bright mushrooms. And then we've got some smaller ones down there. And the reason I do this is it's just nice to kind of literally, if I just put that there, put that in there, it literally is touch and go. And when we're watching TV, or we don't want to create a masterpiece as such, because I'm going to try and put, now something I did find the other day was that, so if I put that there, it may focus and stay. Sorry for the bouncing up and down, guys. Oh, come on, these days. it's made it worse. Oh gosh, guys, I can't work with this. Stop it. I don't have. Right. I just have to find the Logitech thing because this is going to drive me insane. I just have to find this, guys. I'm really sorry because it will drive everybody nuts. Don't know why they can't just let you do the old-fashioned things that work and just leave them as they are, instead of having to redo everything. This is the pen from my Oogie, but it works quite well on this big screen, which I'm probably going to do a bit more work on. Oh, it's just buffeting because the internet is so bad. Sorry, guys, it's really, really bad, this. They've put all these. Yeah, they put all these. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm going to have to stop it, guys, if it will. Just waiting for it to upload. All I need to do is take it. That's it, found it. Get off, you sausage. My word, that was a marathon in itself. So there we go, guys. Sorry about that. Oh my goodness me. Right, so where were we? We were on this mid cadmium red. And again, this is just a real easy way to do things, just very gentle. And if I wanted to make that a little bit darker, I can keep the reds, or if I put a touch of the sap green, just a touch, I can make that red dull. Because, and again, the beauty of this brush is we can do all sorts of things. I really don't like this because this is not my quick touch and go, but it's another way to do it. And then a little bit of green. And you can see the green, if you don't have as much, goes into an olive color, and then the red goes into a kind of a really dark, matched up that color perfectly. And if it's dried out, you can just do that little bit of something with it. I can't understand. can't understand what I've done because chat's not been working for a while. Just bear with me a second, guys. Oh my goodness me, I'm having one of those days today. Ah, there we are. Thank you, guys. So I've got autofocus off now, so we should be almost cooking with gas. Hopefully, just move that out of the way. So we've got, you can do the red and then add a little bit of from the brightest red down. And it's nice to play about like this. But if you're watching TV, it's just that touch and go. And you may not be able to sit there with a brush. Now this has got quite wet now, but because I've been activating the brush. And again, different ways to be, you know, if you've got the little table in front of you, then I have a little hospital table that's quite nice, but I want my brush to be barely damp, and then it's going to pick up some color. And then look for the toadstool, and then we can go from dark to lighter, but it's just quite nice to kind of play about just a little bit, not too much. I'm going to go over that one, I think. Actually, I'll go over this one. I'll look at chat in a second, guys. Thanks for calling by. Hope everybody's bearing up, and as you say, I think I'll have a word with the company to see if we can leave the channel open, and then people can just pop on and have a natter whether I'm here or not, and then it makes it just easy for, because there's bound to be somebody awake somewhere in the planet at every given minute. And as I say, if somebody's fed up at 2 o'clock in the morning, they may not be able to ring up their relatives and have a natter. And it's just to keep everybody a bit sane, because I think we're all going to go a bit stir crazy. I personally won't, because I've got tons to do. But if I was on my own, it would be a different story. I don't know if everybody else is feeling the same. I think I started on that one. I went on that one. I think those two are the same. Some of them in the bigger sets, they double up. So I think we've got some more toads. I'm sure we have some more mushrooms somewhere. See, the thing with Kerby is you've got to find them. They're not always the easiest thing to find. So now I have red on my paintbrush, and being the tight Yorkshire lass, I don't want to lose it. Oh, there we go. Look, more mushrooms. I knew we had some more somewhere. They're very well hidden. So has anybody got any requests, any other colour books you'd like to see? I've got a little bit braver colouring in different colour books now. Before I was a bit frightened to use it. I'm getting a little bit braver now. My phone seems to have just gone. don't know why it wants me to do that. I just don't know why it wants me to do that. Oh, my silly sausage. I've lost my chat, guys. Just go a second. Honestly, silly sausage. It's not working, guys. I've lost chat, but bear with me a second. Oh dear, I seem to have lost chat. Found it. Gee whiz. Sorry, guys. Oh, Sandy says, I'd love to see something in the colour. Oh yes, I've got some beautiful books. Yes, I might do that. I can do that next if you fancy. I'm going to have to get on with this one. I'm not doing very well. I'm not doing very well. My let's see if we can keep hold of the chat now. Oh, if it's not one damn disaster after another. Going to fall out with my phone in a minute. Right, yep, so we've got all the toadstools. Now, there is a sap green, and again, I've got a little tiny bit of red on there, but it doesn't put it. It's a bit wet, is that? So I'll pick a bigger leaf. If you just find yourself with a little bit. So what I'm going to do is turn the page because I like to be comfortable. So I'm going to go down this aisle this way. Now it's kept a little bit of that red. And it's a kind of a mottled green, so we can have it very strong in the middle, and then if we go over the top, we have a natural highlight, and it gives the leaf a little bit more of a variation. Oh, thank you, Sandy. Thank you. And of course, the other leaves at the other side, they're going to have to be a different color. Now, if you wanted, when this is dry, this is buckled a little bit, then you could go over and put some shadows in if you wanted, because we know that one or two of these leaves, you can tell that the reddy bit that I'd picked up has gone. So I'm going to pick up a bit more of that and put it in there because I kind of like that. Really, you can do however and whatever you feel like, But the main aim is to keep the brush, just use the tip, because as you see, it's only barely damp. Once you start wiggling it around, that's when you get the whoosh of colour. So now I've done that leaf. Now I tend to do all the same leaves all at the same time because I forget what I've used. So I'm going to scroll down to this one and come. Sorry about this, guys. Turn it completely upside down again, so I'm comfortable. I need to be a little bit comfortable. So again, I've used a bit of that green with a touch of red, and it's about an olivey colour, which is quite nice because, of course, red has got an orange red. Basically, if you strip the green, you've got yellow and blue, and if you strip the red at the other side, you've still got red because it's a primary. But if you mix yellow with red, you get orange. So all it's doing is basically the touch of red is making the yellow that's in the green orange, if that makes sense. I will say that again. In fact, I'll show you what I mean. I do like those colours. They're a little bit different. They're not straight out the pan as well. Yes, Suzanne says, love the Derwent water brushes. They are brilliant for this. But I'll show you with a different paintbrush. No, I don't have any water, so I will have to. Oh, I have got some water here. So if we have here, we have a red. So here we've got a red. And here we've got a green. But the green is made up of, I use the coolest yellow as well. But actually, no, I won't use that one because when you make an orange, you want the warmest yellow. So we've got the warmest yellow here. And then we've got that blue for the green, I think for sap green. I'll put that there because we don't really want it. So we're going to make a green. Oh, it's very near. So that is very near to that. But obviously we've got red. So if we take that red again here and bring that yellow across, we're going to make an orange. So by splitting that up, it's not done it literally, but it's in there. There's the blue and the yellow. The yellow has gone with the red to make orange, and the orange with the green creates an olive color. But I haven't added orange. I've added red. And when you can play about with these three colors, you get beautiful different greens. I hope that did that make a little bit of sense, guys? I always end up going on color things. I apologize. It's one of my obsessions is mixing your own colors and changing the colors very slightly. Oh my goodness me. Into kind of a tertiary color. Oh, hi, 3D art student. Welcome to, sorry, 3D art student. Welcome to Bunny Designs. Oops. Oh, fiddly-dee. That's better. So I hope that made a little bit of sense. And again, you can see that it's not a flat color, even though I'm using a fairly flat color. And that's, again, what I love. You can have darks and lights, and that makes it slightly different than just using a flat pencil. So I've done that one, and there's a couple of other ones, I think. Sorry, the buttons are catching this one here. So again, a touch of red on here, and then while that's wet, I can just pick up a little bit of that. And by just picking up and what this does is it turns red greens into green reds, which again is quite unusual. And then depending on where you touch, this is why it's a good idea to have a plate or a palette, just so you can touch different sides. I mean, it's never going to be a perfect leaf, but it's not going to be, because it's quick, it's easy, it's colouring, it's watercolouring. It's not watercolours, it's watercolouring. You're colouring in with a watercolour, and a very simple mechanism. And I think I might want to do this one next. Now, I don't like Viridian, but you can do things with Viridian as you can with all greens. So, I mean, to me, that's a bit of a stark green. It's not my fave. And again, you can really get this brush dirty, and then you can instantly go somewhere else, pick up a yellow. It is nice to keep your colours nice. I mean, my daughter's is so used, it looks amazing. So I've now got a pea green, a grass green. If I took it further, it would be, I don't really want to touch that, it would be a Chinese green, a very pale. And that's because I put this yellow to it, not this one. So I've got a pea green now, and I'm going to keep going because I kind of want to, this will be a flat colour because my brush is full. If I wanted it anything else, I'd need to take out some of the colour. So this will be a flat, bright pea. But if you look where Kerby's done some extra lines, he's telling you where the shade is. Not particularly cross-hatching and hatching, but just extra lines. So we can use this pea green as the highlight and then just go back with a different colour a bit later when it's dried. Again, just touch the tip. And go across. And again, you can be as rough or as careful as you want to be. Line and wash sometimes is lovely because you can go over the line, and we're all obsessed with staying in the line, but a lot of beautiful sketches are outside the line, which is kind of unheard of in a colour book. Oh, hi Sam, Pat, welcome back to Bunny Designs. Anybody else popping in? I thought I'd have a bit of a, I think that with the current state of, I think we need something to take our minds off things. And I think you can do this while you're watching TV, presumably your favourite movie, or listening to a play on the radio. I think radios might come back into their own again, or learning a language, which you can all do these things while you're colouring. You can be talking and colouring, as I'm doing, making YouTube channels. I think, as I say, I think I'm going to keep this channel open. It might not be until I don't know how many people are in lockdown, but I just thought it would be an idea to keep a channel open 24/7, and then anybody that wants to natter all across the world, there'll be somebody up at normal hours, where you can just, and you're not physically talking, you're typing, so you can still have a bit of a natter and a bit of a laugh without making a noise. if your partner's asleep, or if you, and of course you don't have to get out of bed. You can still talk, and you can type on your phone if you've got small enough fingers. I've got horrible big fingers, so I think that might be a good idea, guys. As I say, I'll have a word with, I'll have a word with the guys and see if they can up the speed for me. And then even though I'm not live, the link is live, and then obviously there'll be some Yorkshire waffle when I'm on. And even though it's a Kerby, you look at it and go, oh my goodness, if you pick out the certain ones, eventually other ones pop out and you can see things like, I'm not quite sure what's going on under there, but when I do the butterfly, something else will pop out, and Kerby does that. If anybody's got any questions, pop them in caps, and I can. I know you're nattering to me. So again, I've done that one. There's one here. There's this one as well. So again, because these are perforated, it's such a good idea to move around so that we're. I am doing again a different technique, dead flat color. If you just had the color on the tip, I'll show you. Look, it goes to nothing. But because I'm picking up quite a lot of color because I'm mixing, it's different. Because when you're just touching the color and going, you can go dark to light. But when you're mixing, you'll end up with a full brush of the same color. So you have to do 2 areas to get the same effect. But the reason I'm doing this is it's a different technique. I'm doing this so that I come back to it, I can make them darker so that we can know that that's on top of there, but it's still underneath. It's still a shadow because Kerby's done a couple of lines to show it's going to be darker and there's no lines on the top. So again, sometimes you've got to follow the artists that they're showing you where the tonal values are. And as you'll probably notice, there is 2 inches missing from this color page. It goes on for another 2 inches, and the reason is this is A3, and A3 is 2 A4s, which is printer size, which is about 8 inches something and 11 inches something. But this is a particular paper size, whereas the original Kerby books are square. I think they're 10 by 10, so, or maybe 12 by 12, but they can't double that because they couldn't get this size paper to print on. So that's why this is A3. And as I say, if you folded it in half, it would be the same size as a printer page. So that's A4, that's A3. Whereas the original Kerbys are printed on a square. You'll notice it's a square box. There's a beautiful dragonfly there. So I've got this blue here. Again, I did have a bit of green. Now look at that beautiful blue I've got by putting green to it. So that's the bright blue. And I'll just clean that off. And then I'll just put a touch of that pea green in it. This is where you get your turquoises. You get your turquoises by mixing your greens and your blues. You see, there's turquoise, aqua. That's probably aqua green, aqua blue. If you put more, and again, it's a different green. It's the Viridian. You couldn't get this. I'll show you really quickly. You couldn't get, if you do cerulean blue, and Viridian. Oh, I've got a better one. But it's a different one. This is a bluer one. So the different blues with the green do different things. And you'll get the aqua colours and then you'll get the turquoisey colours. Everything can come from that blue. Everything can come from that yellow, and everything can come from that red, because these are printer ink colours. Remember when I go on about the printer inks? Oh, hi, AC. Welcome to Bunny's Designs. Oh, gosh, the voice is getting higher and higher. I thought I'd better pop on. And my studio is almost finished. It's still very messy. But I'll do a quick studio tour next time. I just thought I would try and do my bit. I can't go knock on old ladies' doors doing the shopping for them, because I do have a bit of a sniffle, and I have a croaky voice. This morning I woke up with a croaky voice. Although I've been isolating for about a week, I didn't go to the Abbey last week. My husband started with a cough. My daughter's got a cough, so they've passed it on to hubby, and hubby's passed it on to me. So it's interesting, the fact that even though I'm staying here upstairs in my bedroom, everybody else is coming in. So you've got to be really careful. Now, I can't stop my girls going out, and I've stopped hubby going out because hubby started with a cough this morning, so I've banished him. He's not banished. Oh, we'll go back to this beautiful turquoisey colour. I wonder if there's like the peacock green, and then there's a blue one that I love in the Peerless. I just can't find it. Now, the other thing I normally do, and I've not done it, is I normally have a piece of a photocopy paper to test the colour on, but we're just going to go for it. It's a different colour, and again, sometimes if you get this colour, you think, oh my goodness, I love this. Then for goodness sake, while you've got it here and you remember what you did, have a little sketchbook. Some are only £1 or £2. Have a little sketchbook, do the little colours, and then write down what you did, because this book would be so precious later on when you think, oh, I had that beautiful colour. How did I get it? Because I probably won't remember how I did this. Now I'm going to put this blue to Viridian. So it's the bright blue and Viridian. And now I've got the blue teal colour. It's a teal colour. And of course, if I do it lighter, it becomes the most beautiful pale colour. So from one colour we can make it darker, but then we can make it lighter. If it was acrylics or oils, we'd add white, but if it's watercolour, we just add water, and we get the most beautiful. You can keep going till we just get absolutely beautiful colours. So I'm quite pleased with that, because again, those colours aren't here, but I've made them with two colours. I've made them with a green. I've added a different blue to a green. And again, if you had the two yellows and the two blues, you could make hundreds of greens, and then you can change them by adding yellow to them all and blue to them all. So you don't just have hundreds of colours with the first yellow and blue. You've got double that, and then you can cross them again, and instead of using that yellow with that blue, use that yellow with that blue, and ditto that one with that blue and that one with that blue. So you end up with 40 or 50 greens, and you've only been mixing for 10 minutes. It's colour mixing is beautiful. And the other thing is, as well, this little palette here is responsible for these colours, and these colours they have an affinity, because I've got two greens. I haven't got 10 greens, I've got two. They are already mixed, still slightly connected, because they're only two greens. Hope that makes sense. If I had a pack of, I mean, like if we take the peerless have about 5 to 6 greens. I think the Ganzi Tambai watercolors, which I've next to me, they have about 5 greens. If you have a full set of these, you've got 5 to 6 greens. Again, peerless have, hydras have. Most of the sets have got at least 6 to 10 greens, and we could touch and go with the 6 to 10 greens, but we wouldn't have the page wouldn't gel as well, because they're all coming from a different, they're all coming from a straight color, that there isn't a connection. And I kind of like that connection. Now, I know in early times when you read the books, they go, oh no, you've got to have the different colors because you are basically have a pigment and you're splitting the pigment with another pigment, and the more you do that for the tertiary colors, they lose the transparency and the color and the clarity of everything of the original color. But we don't care. This is a color book. We want to make this page. I want to make these greens, and they come by accident, but they match, and it makes the end product a decent piece that I'm quite happy with because I like color. So that's what we're about. We're not about professional watercolors. We're not about professional colors. So thanks guys for stopping by. I hope everybody's carrying on, you know, British thing. Not just British, but you know, get on there. I think it was Churchill. So I think we need to be looking at things that we can do easy. We can get our oils out and start doing oil painting, but this is something you can do watching TV, or if you're stuck in bed somewhere, you can still do this if you're physically well enough. Otherwise, you'll have to listen to my waffle. So I promise not to be on 24/7, but I think if I leave the channel open, people can just keep coming in and having a bit of a waffle and going away and coming back. And as I say, if you do wake up at 2 or 3 and 4 in the morning, you're not, you know that there'll be somebody at the other side of the world that might be on that will talk to somebody because it's their lunchtime or it's their afternoon time, and vice versa. I don't know if you think that's a good idea. I've written it in my good book so I can remember. So I've got this dragonfly. I think I'm going to do his body again. I've got these beautiful colors. So I've got bluey green, and normally it's a red, but if I go for an orange, this is cadmium orange, and I put this here, again it's got a touch of blue in it, so it's a dull, but it's not that dull. If I just do this, I have a different olive color. It's still a bit going olivey, but it's a brighter pear green one, and that matches here, whereas it wouldn't match here because I've used the other green. I hope that makes a bit of sense. So this could be mixed in with the green. We make that a bit. Again, you see, you keep going and going. Oh, I like that one. That's a lime color. So I've made a lime by accident. And again, that's why a little book is really important, because you won't remember millions of colors, but you'll suddenly think, oh my goodness, I want that color, and you won't have it. If you can't do it with that, just get some photocopy paper, fold them in half, and then cut them down and fold them in half, and then make A5 size. So get photocopy paper, fold it in half, tear it, fold it in half again, and then just to put half a dozen pictures, and you can draw squares to make it neat, or you can just do it as colors as you go, or you could make 5 or 6 pages and go, right, this is the green page, this is the blue page, this is the purple page, this is all the reds and yellows and oranges, and you can do it that way. And then, as I say, even sitting, playing, watching television without coloring in, playing with color, you're learning something, and then you suddenly think, oh, I've got that page, I never liked it, now I want to color it. Different things inspire you to color differently. I mean, I don't normally do it like this, but this is how I'm just touching things. And I don't like normally this. Mine was supposed to be touch and go, but I've now got that I'm not using the whole of this brush, and I'm playing about with these little colors I've got here, and it's working its way through this book. This is a little bit green, this one. Oh, I've got a caterpillar here. Now he is a green caterpillar, and there are 3 things sticking up here, whereas I'm convinced only 2 of them are his antennae. And I've left his underbelly, and you see I've got a bit of a highlight going on. I think his bottom goes behind there. What I can do now is touch either a yellow, but I'm thinking about actually picking up a bit of this red. And now it's the same green, but it's a shadow. And that's why shadows work. Never add black. Never add black, because we don't need to add black. Add a touch of complementary color, and you take the original color a tone down, which is exactly what a shadow is. A shadow is the same thing, but it's got a tone down. And a black is very cold. It changes the color. Complementary color won't change it too much. It'll just dull it down. I hope that made sense. So I've got a butterfly here, and I've got these beautiful blues and teals. Again, I'm going to clean my brush. And the beautiful thing about this one is, yes, it looks dirty, but it isn't. It just isn't. So I liked the, I haven't used the French ultramarine. I think this is either purple. No, this is French ultramarine. So I've got French ultramarine here. So I'm going to touch a bit of viridian. And this is where we get our peerless greens from here. So then again, I've got another one, very similar. We could add a touch of purple to it and see what happens. I thought that was purple. And then we get a duller purple. So that's quite a nice color as well. So I'm going to do the butterfly, that blue. I think I might leave the top and make that as a dull color. And then go back to my original color. And again, that would have been a lovely shadow of that one. So have you got any questions, guys? If you've got anything you want to ask me. I've got a snail there, but again, he's been cut off again because he's there. I normally leave the horse white, but I'll see how we go. I've got to go back to this green, because if I don't, I'll forget what I'm doing, because I'm terrible at forgetting the greens mixed up. So my pea green was viridian, and cadmium yellow, or a warm yellow, I should say. It doesn't have to be cadmium. And again, turn the page over so you're comfortable. No, I've done that. I can't find where I want it to go. Kerby's very good at hiding things. We've got this one. And again, once you've picked off 1 or 2 of these, you'll probably find things behind pop up. I think I used to do the flowers first, but I've learned to do the leaves first, because then they kind of pop out. I think that one is a slightly different color, actually, but we'll do this one. And you, as you say, when you first look at a Kerby, you think, oh my goodness me, you could never do that. So I just pick out the same leaf, then I pick out the same flower. And the other thing with that is the page grows together. It's you don't start at one end and go across, which you normally do with other paintings. So I just find it just a nice way to work. Now I do want a full colour on the top, so I'm going to put that shadow in later. Oh, that's the one I want to pick. This one's going around there. So again, some more yellow. And every time you do it, it's a slightly different tone, different colour, only slightly, because obviously sometimes I pick more yellow than mix it with the green. So again, even though it's the same two colours, I'm still getting a difference. And again, that is nice to see on a page like this. Or I think it's nice to see on a page like this. So that one goes there, that one goes there, and I think that one's supposed to go all the way up there. And then turn this round very carefully, because now this is going around here now. So thanks for stopping by, guys. Hope you're keeping well. Everybody keeping morally well. I think we need to keep morally well. Morale. I'll tell you a funny story. It's not a funny story, but I'll tell you a story. And this was about 2 weeks ago in London. A friend of mine went to London, and this is before it's 2 weeks ago, which the world was different and London was different. And my friend is in her 80s, and she went to stay with her sister who's in her 80s. And they were having coffee and cake in a supermarket. Oh, it's the posh one. I can't remember which it is. Oh, it's one of the posh ones anyway. And they were having tea and cake, and the sister said, oh, I do need a couple of things. I need some hand sanitizer. And they went, ha, 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 even 2 weeks ago. And she said, but I do need some toilet rolls, and I also need some long life milk, because I only use long life milk. Thank you, darling. Thank you. And I only use long life milk. She always uses long life milk regardless, and so does my friend, and so do I. And so she portaled round, no long life milk, no soy milk, and there were and she obviously didn't find, oh, she wanted soap, so she got the soap. And then they went to the toilet roll aisle. As I said, this is, I think it's over 2 weeks ago, and there were 2 packs of toilet rolls on the top shelf. So my friend said, so if I said, oh, well, I'm not going to get any, I'll get mine when I get back to Yorkshire next week. And the sister says, well, if I were you, I'd get a pack. And she says, well, I haven't got any, but I'll get them when I get to Yorkshire. So the sister said, no, if I were you, you'd probably find there aren't any in Yorkshire, because you've been down there a few days. Get them now. So these 2 ladies are not very tall, and a tall gentleman came around the corner, and they said, excuse me, would you mind passing those 2 toilet rolls, packs of toilet rolls, off the top shelf? We can't reach. So the gentleman very kindly got the toilet rolls down. At that second, his wife came round the corner and said, I'll have those. So he put them in her basket, and they went away. And I think that's disgusting. And this is 2 80+ people just asking somebody to pass something down. Now, obviously, this woman didn't need 2 packs of 9 toilet rolls, but she took both. She didn't even say, you have one and we'll split it. I don't have any at home. And I just think that was the start of what was going on. And there are going to be an awful lot more stories like that. But I just think that was absolutely disgusting. Waitrose, that's what it was. And I just thought, and I'm surprised, because I usually have a stick with me, and so does my friend. And I said, I caught him on the ankle with the stick, and I just thought that was absolutely disgusting. But anyway, cannot believe it. But yeah, as just that split second, the wife said, I'll take those. I just thought that was horrible. Sorry for my Yorkshire waffle. Hubby's brought me another cup of coffee, bless him. Oh no, it's a cup of tea. A cup of tea. So it obviously started 2 weeks ago. Even before people were panic buying, it just got silly. And my friend stopped in Norwich. I think she stopped in 3 counties coming back home because she knew she didn't have any toilet rolls at home. Didn't have many. She needed them, but because she was going away, she didn't do the shop, and she couldn't find any. So I said, well, we better start using newspaper again. And then somebody said that one of the newspapers was printing extra pages, which I thought was good. Oh, hi, Colour and Felt. Welcome back. I thought I'd have to do my little bit. I can't go out looking at shopping for people for 2 reasons. One is I'm not physically able, but the other is I do have a cough, so I'm stopping in. And the other one, I just thought I need to do something. So I thought, well, if I come on here and do a bit of colouring and a bit of Yorkshire waffle, it might help the day go past. But I'm sure we can learn a language, or we can clean out cupboards and drawers and things. And if we get organised now, do a bit of decorating, learn a new art skill, sewing, knitting, crocheting, embroidery. Embroidery is really good for de-stressing. It's such a lovely art. My daughter crocheted when she was doing her exams. Oh, hi, Scooby. Anybody else pop in and I've missed? Hi, Darlene. Sorry, the voice is getting croaky and croakier. Hi, Katrina. Anybody else I've missed? Sorry, I've missed you. Say hi. Hi, Pamela. I just thought I'd come and do my little bit. So I'm thinking about leaving this channel open so that even though I'm not streaming, you can still have a natter, and it keeps people in touch with people. And as I say, if you wake up at 2 in the morning and you think, oh, I need to speak to somebody, there's probably somebody in the other side of the world who's just getting nail pros, having the breakfast, and think, oh, I could do with a bit of a natter. As I say, I'm not sure if it would work logically, but thinking about it, it might be. Does that make any sense? I don't think we're using any resources we haven't already got. My internet's going to be on, so I can't see a problem with that. People just pop on and pop off. Do we think the logistics is about? It was just an idea. It was just an idea because I just think groups need to natter to each other, and although they're talking about communities, small communities, I think that's fine. But as I say, if you wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and you ring somebody up going, I want a natter, or I'm a bit worried about this, or I'm a bit fed up, and then there would be somebody in their normal day up pottering about or doing whatever they're doing. Does that make sense, or am I just talking? I'm going to do a yellow. I'm going to do a yellow rose. I don't normally do a yellow rose, but I do like this yellow. It's not quite gamboge. But you see, we can make it gamboge. You see, there we go off again. Can't help myself, guys. Sorry. There we go. Look, a little bit of that. Now that is a deeper cadmium yellow, but it is a lovely cadmium yellow. It's a warm yellow. It's a warm yellow rather than a cooler yellow. So a warm yellow next to, and that's orange. So next to a red. Now that's a cadmium red light. Now I would call that vermilion. And again, we go back to this cadmium red. It's a pinky red. This must be cadmium red. This is cadmium red. But it doesn't matter if it is even pinkier, because we can make a beautiful orange. And then if we put a touch more red back into it, we'd go back to vermilion, which is just that bit orangier than a cad. Now I wonder if that's going to be nice. Let's have a look. It's a bit dull, but it's actually quite a nice colour. It's a nice colour, is that? So I like that. I'm going to do the inside. Again, you can do whatever you want. This little brush will go on forever. This is quite an old one, is this one. The Derwent #1 brush comes in a set. Now, I'm a tight Yorkshire lass. Get the set, it's a tenner. If sometimes you see the #1, it's £8 or £6. It's about £10 to £12 for the set of 3. Buy the set of 3 because the other brush is fatter. I'll show you them. The other brush is a lot fatter, so you wouldn't really use it. Oh, hands out really good. You wouldn't really use it for this. But remember, we've got quite a lot of colour books coming out on watercolour paper. And I'm hoping that if I can get my colour pages up, people can print those off on a thicker board, a thicker paper, where you can use a bigger brush. And also the third one is a wedge. Oh my goodness me, I pulled out the third one. So that's the full set. A 1, 2 and a 3. Don't pay more than £12–15 for the set. As I say, some people pay £10 for one. I'm a tight Yorkshire lass. I haven't used this one yet, but there will come a time. Especially thinking about doing lettering. Because I'm going to do some more journaling as well. So that might be good. This is a little bit too wet for a paper book, really, unless you're not bothered about bobbles, in which case you can go to town. But you probably found this much wet will damage your page, which, you know, we don't like to do. But yeah, you never know. The brushes will come in some way. And a tight Yorkshire lass, I do like that. Oh, thank you, Katie. Thank you. So I can brighten this colour up I've got here by going back, and bearing in mind I don't want to pick any other colour up, so I'm going back in the middle. And I can, it's a bit stark, but if I just mix a little bit of this, it's a big highlight. So I've brightened it up, and I've naturally, it could do with being a little bit weaker because, but again, this is the difference when you're mixing. You won't, that's the consistency I should have. But I still like this. Again, this is now probably called a two-tone. If you go over the whole of it, which we might as well do because I'm doing it now, it will blend better because you've got a continuity. You've got the light, but you've got the darker one underneath. So if we go over the whole lot where I've put the light and the dark, it looks different to here because here I haven't. This bit I have. And I kind of like that. Now, if you see a bit wet because I've gone over and over, so it's a little bit of a bubble, but it's not going to upset me in any way. If you've got any more questions, I'm just going to have a mouthful of tea. So I haven't been on for about six or 7 months, guys, so apologies. I don't know what's happening and who's on and who's not on and who does and who doesn't. Did get the collywobbles when they were talking about fines of £42,000 because really scared me, that did, because I knew that, you know, I've got over 900 videos up, so it would be catastrophic for me to be fined. So I won't advertise that the fur babies are in, but the fur babies will be making an appearance, hopefully. Another way to do it is just to go around the whole lot. I think the other one, when I did the roses with the horse, I think I did that one slightly differently as well. I'm going to do a little bit of darker on there, just a little bit, because again, it depends which red you touch, because I want to do this rose darker because it's behind the other one. And thinking about it a little bit, but not going overboard. This is touch and go. This is easy, quick colouring with some semblance of order, but it's for pleasure. This is for mindfulness. This is for de-stressing. When I do certain colour pages, I'm stressed to heck because it's got to be absolutely perfect. It's got to be realistic. And that's why I like the Kerbys and the other ones, because, oh, thank you, Kenny. Sorry, darling. I apologize. Suzanne says I love my fur babies. I forgot what I was talking about now. As usual, mouthful of tea. It's colours. If I'm doing a colour page, I am stressed to the eyeballs that it's got to be perfect. I've got to practice 10 times on a piece of paper. I have to say though, I only ever colour when I'm filming, because I always think, even if it's a quick one on the ferry, it shows you in reality. I've not done this page before. I've not practiced. Everything I do normally is I turn the camera on and I start, and that's very bitty and it's very unprofessional, but it's very natural, if that makes any sense. It's very rare I do anything first. I normally have my mistakes out there somewhere. And again, yeah, this is the same yellowish kind of colors here, but I've added colors to them, brighter and darker, and I've got some different colors. Sorry, my buttons keep catching. So I kind of like that. The other way of doing it is to do some here and some there, pick up a lighter color and then go back. So there's a little bit of the sameness, but it's a bit mixed up. And again, that's another nice way to work. If you go in with a real brighter color, again, I'm going over wet, which is not really advisable, but you're doing it. But again, it's still connected to here because these colors are in these two. Again, I hope that makes sense, guys. Oh, thank you, Kenny. And again, you know, you can start. I would say if you were doing a certain leaf, then I would, if that's the point, to stop, not halfway through, because you can forget what you're going. But again, you know, I thought, oh, well, I'm not going to use this, and look what I've done. So again, it's nice to do this, and it also it evolves. You get used to the colors. Now I use different types of watercolor, but they all basically react the same. But I don't always get the same because this is a cake and I make it watery. If it's a hydrous, it's stronger. If it's a peerless, it's stronger. So there are different. It's to do with the binder to make it a watercolor. Binders, it's a water-based binder, but they do different things, and also the quality. But I think these are the Cotman's, the Cotman watercolors, and these are almost just on the cusp of professional. There is a slight difference, and the thing I show you is this one is still a little bit sticky, and another one's collapsed and was sticky, and that's because it's the pigment. So they're very, very, very good quality, these Cotman watercolors, and now they've stopped saying they're student grade, so I think they've upped them to be professional. But they are beautiful colors. I don't want to do a comparison because there's no point. The comparison is the price. I don't try to use my professional watercolors in my color book pages because there's no point. There's not real much point doing that, if that makes any sense. Oh, poor Kenny, you've not had a fur baby. I'll send Alfie. No, I can't send Alfie. Suzanne would never forgive me, but he's a terror, and he's taught the other two to ignore you. So you shout the other two. I'll show you the little girl from Romania. She's been in this country a while. Another quick flash of the baby. There's the baby with the big eyes. And quite a poor attempt at the first attempt with I used the eraser and made it stronger and weaker, and used the pencil stronger and weaker in Procreate, and it again just decided that I wanted to be that little bit different. I'm sure we can send some fur babies over. I lost all my photographs on my iPad. I gutted, absolutely gutted. But we don't go there because the iPad nearly went out the window, I can tell you. So there's our boy. And he's not got any better. He hasn't. That's what he looked like when he was a dead look. You'd think he'd be a good boy, but he's not a good boy. I'm looking for photos of the clan. We have a small clan now. So we have Frankie Doodles, and her legs are that short. There's Frankie Doodles. Thank you, Kenny. There she is again. Look, she's about 3 weeks old there. She's just a doll. She's just a doll. And she still hasn't grown into the eyes yet. She's got the biggest eyes on the planet. She's about 2 days old there. She's got all that hair and it's going blonder by the minute. I bathed her last time she came. So where's the boy? Where's the boy? That's when Alfie and them first met. Alfie's not impressed, but she does have short legs. And then we have Bungle and his mama. Look at Bungle. He still loves his mama. But he's been really naughty. He's doing his doo-doos in the wrong place. He's not been a good boy, unfortunately. And he's destroyed, smelly wise, he's destroyed my studio because it smells in there. So he's not a good boy at the minute, isn't our boy? Yeah, she's a bit of a cute girl, isn't she? With a top knot. So I'm going to attempt to do a portrait of her. I thought I had the little miss. We still got just Betsy Doodles, and Betsy Doodles and Bungle have an odd snuggle when they're not playing tag. He's a bit of a bully, though, I have to say. Yeah, he's a bit of a bully, is our Bungle. But of course, he adores my daughter. Look at him, absolutely adores her. He's. I just need to find a picture of the other one. No, haven't got one. As I say, I lost all the photographs, so I've had to go onto YouTube, onto Facebook, and download the ones that I put up there. That's how I've got some back. But I lost thousands. All the baby videos, everything went. I don't want to tell you because I will cry. I wasn't a happy girl, I can tell you. I almost threw it out the window. Almost did. I was looking for a picture of Scooby Doobs, but I don't think I have one of Scooby Doobs. No, I haven't got a picture of Scoobs that I can get to very easily. But she's doing well. They're just all being naughty now. They're all being naughty now. My colour books are on the landing in a box. I've got in a cupboard. I bought a Billy bookcase with a glass shelf on the front, so they're all in there. So they're all handy because I say it was taking weeks to bring everything upstairs so that I could stream from up here when I had Felicity. Purely because the dogs are downstairs, and I trust Alfie, but I can't trust the Romanian dogs with a 7-month-old. So that's the reason I was moving everything upstairs anyway. So it's just happened that everything's come forward that bit earlier. That's all. But because I have a cough, I am not going out. Because I think it's important. I'm still using this colour because I'm going to do this big rose here. I think this one could be quite nice. Now the other thing we can do is do the edge here and then go somewhere else and possibly do another one. I might have to make these darker. Actually, no, I'm gonna have to make these darker because I want a bit of a darker one down here. Right. Yeah, I kind of need a bit of an orangey one, but we can do a yellow tip. That's what I was thinking. Again, there's all sorts of different ways you can do things. There must be another little flower. It's getting paler now, you see. So now when I go back, I have a natural highlight. And it's another way to just give an effect, if that makes any sense. So thanks for joining me, guys. I think we need to do quite a lot of colouring. I always said, it's my fault, I always said I've got too many colour books, I'll never colour them. Of course, this is the perfect opportunity to rectify that, although certainly wouldn't have expected that. Just going to put, I think, a little bit. You see, if you put it straight on, I've diddled the brush, it's gone wetter and it's brighter, so it doesn't match. Those two don't match. I'm not happy with that, so I'm just going to put a touch of this. Again, shouldn't do this, but you see the brush could be wet, but you see that now is fine. It's got a highlight, but it's matched because I've and that's how you do washes in watercolor, but obviously you're on watercolor paper. Here we're not. I think I kind of fancy a pinky color on here, I think. So we'll just get this Elysian Crimson, which is a pinky red. I don't fancy doing anything with it really. I think I might just let it go as it is. Now the other thing is, it's stronger, richer color. You see, that's completely different. So again, we can do this. And there must be another one somewhere yet behind. There's another one. And then when we go back, and remember this is watercolor, so we can reactivate it and have not a line. If it was the Inktense, you get a line, but not with a watercolor. So you've got a blend. So dark, and then it was light, and now we have a blend. So I hope I've shown you one or two techniques that you can use. And again, we've now got to follow, because we found another one. Now these can be darker because they're behind and they're smaller. And I've just found another one behind there. I always find things with a Kerby. I think I'll stop this video in a little while and no, there's nothing else there. So I will probably forget this. Oh, there's one. Found another one. It's the same pink, but it looks like I've got different colors. Normally you get about 10 shades, a dead color. That's how from a single color. This is a different color. Now another color that I do like is mixing 50-50 Viridian with sap green. And if you mix 50-50, you get a hooker's green, which is almost like a forest green. A bit more to dull it down, really, just a bit more. and then we get like a deep green, forest, what I would call a forest green, completely different to the others. And again, what you can do is go around all the leaves. And then when you go forward, we've got any more of those. You've got dark and light, and if you have a little bit of dark, you can do this stem if you want, and make a little bit of a difference. Oh, hi, Art Mingle. Welcome to Bunny Designs. Has anybody else got any questions? So I've got a blue one and a butterfly. This one is a purple. And if you see the difference, this is a purple straight from the purple pan. It's stark because it's on its own kind of thing. I think I'm going to put I like them to be a little bit muted. I think they do need to be a little bit muted, and then we could possibly have a brighter yellow. It can't be too bright because it would look a little bit silly there. So it's coming along. I've got the butterflies done. I keep finding an odd snail and caterpillar. So we've got an orangey colour, we've got reds, we've got pinks, we've got purples. I think we might have a little blue flower. Although I do like oranges. I've got a yellowy orange, but not an orange. And just get rid of that little bit of colour there. So this is a true orange. And again, I'm not sure about like true oranges. I like to make my own because it alters the type of orange colour it is, if that makes any sense. You see, I've made that warmer by putting pink with it. So I think, again, got to be comfortable. There is quite a lot of colour on this brush because I've mixed it. So I'm going to do the ends. So I do the centres first and leave the ends. And then this is going to get paler and paler. And eventually, when I go back, now I've gone back, there is a difference. And if you didn't like that difference, you can just gently touch it very quickly again. And you keep that. Now you can't do too much, that's it, because it's, as I say, it's not proper watercolor paper, but we have a bit of a highlight on there. Again, I like this orange I've made, so I'm going to use it on this one. Oops, it must be barky dog time. Sorry, guys. Barky dog time. And you can hear the Alf in the background. I might ask hubby to let him up, because now Felicity can't come, because obviously, even though Felicity gets a cold, she's fine. I'm not really allowed. And they're in Lancashire, so it's cane crossing borders and things, and not borders as such, but county borders. We don't want to start the War of the Roses all over again, do we? I kind of like, I've got 3 of those. I think I might do that kind of the orange. I mean, you can do these psychedelic colors, you can do them all bright. I just like to play about with the paint. I just think it's just a nice little way to work. And this #1 brush, I mean, I've used a quarter of the water, but I don't think I have. That's when I went out. So you really, you're not going to run out of water. Again, I love that. There's no having to, the reason that you can do this for hours is you're not rinsing a brush out. If you think how many different colors I've done, if I was cleaning my brush every time, I'd have to lift my shoulder 10 times more than I have. And that makes a difference. I know you don't think it does, but it makes a difference. And there's still quite a lot of colour on this brush. And if you want to just nip back and put that little bit in, if you're quick and you don't over rub, rubbing in water is what destroys the pictures, the painting. Oh, the paper, sorry guys, can't speak today. And there's another one there which I think is probably, again, you can reconstitute this because it's a watercolour. I've touched that one and I've got a little bit of the old colour on it, so, but it's still matching. So I like that. It's still matching the colours that are here. There's another one here. So thanks for joining me, guys. I hope you're all safe, keeping safe. Suzanne says, my boy. Yeah, you wouldn't have said that the other night when he was running up downstairs with muddy paws. He's a bit of a dirty boy, is our Alf Pants. I have to say, he's a bit of a mucker pup. So I think I'm going to do a few more leaves now. So again, you find that you've got the you pick the flowers off, and then you need to go back to greens again to kind of find what's what, because that's a bit muddled under there. And it could almost be a butterfly, but I'm not quite sure. I do have it is a butterfly, and that's a flower. I noticed that one. I think it's a butterfly, that one. Hiding. And sometimes you can look at the painting and think, oh, well, it's working quite well because I've got a little mixture of things going on. And it's all accident. I haven't said I want a yellow there and a red there. I've just thought, well, I've got an orange up there. That's a paler colour. That's a yellower colour. And again, I like that. It's not regimented. I've missed bits. I've put different colours to different bits. And that's what happens in real life. If you have a rose bed of red roses, chances are the different rose bushes be different colours, but they'll all be red. And that's very similar to here, that got the same kind of flower, but the colours are just a little bit different. Oh, thank you, Kenny. Thank you. Hope you can see that. I hope you can see. Again, the nicest thing at the end is you can mix some of these colours together and get some grungy colours, and then go behind, and then the other colours will pop up. As I said, there are so many things you can do to play about with colour. To play about with colour. So that's that one. I don't think I've got another one of those, but I want to do. I found some more flowers now. I always find flowers when I don't want any more flowers. I think I might just do that one, this colour. But the reason for this is this has got to be de-stressing. As I say, we're not doing a masterpiece. We're not trying to do something. I'm going to use a bit of raw sienna to go under these toadstools. See, a completely different yellow. But you'll probably find that if I took a cadmium red and not the warm yellow, but the coolest yellow I've got, which is lemon yellow. Colour still in that. And then yellow is complementary of purple. So I'm just going to pinch a tiny bit of purple. It might be a tiny bit more. Can't be blue because blue will make green. Don't want to make green. I'll try that one. A little bit of purple. It was the wrong yellow. It was the right yellow originally. Yeah. So if you use cadmium yellow and a touch of purple, you get raw sienna. Yellow ochre is very similar as well. Yellow ochre is just a touch more. That's yellow ochre. So you can make yellow ochre and raw sienna with yellow and a touch of purple, because it's a cooler colour. Oh, hi, Armin. I don't think it is. The paper feels exactly the same. I think I've had that question before. I think it's exactly the same. I'm pretty sure it feels exactly the same. It feels exactly the same as the other one. And it doesn't tell you what it is. I might have to Google it actually. I'm using it the same way I would, because I've got a little bit of a buckle, so I'm using it exactly the same way as the others. So I'd made that colour. I need a bit more of a different green this time. So instead of mixing a green with yellow, and I could possibly mix a cadmium yellow. With a touch of French ultramarine. And the yellow is not going to do very much to that at all. It's got a kind of a really dark colour. This is a dark, I would call this a dark olive, or maybe a true olive rather than a pale olive, because the other ones are very pale orange olive. This is a stronger colour, and that's because I made it, because the reason it's gone olive is the lemon. You can't do with lemon yellow because lemon yellow doesn't have any red in it. It's the yellowest yellow, whereas that yellow has got a touch of the red in it to make it going into an orange. And it's the red that makes the yellow, that makes the orange, with the blue to go with the yellow to make the green. Because if you mix orange to green, you get olive colours. And it's the combination of that red going with that to make a yellow, to make an orange. Oh gosh, I hope that made sense, guys. So that's that leaf, which is this leaf. And again, sometimes you find a really nice colour that you think, this is the one I'm going to kind of take around with me. So again, different yellow made a different green, but it's not connected. It's not connected to anything because it's a different green. So it'll look a little bit alien when it's next to something else, when it's next to one of these. But again, sometimes I like that. There is still a little bit of connection because of I made it with a yellow and a blue. And I've made other colours with the French ultramarine. That's got French ultramarine in it. That's got French ultramarine in it. So again, there is a connection with it. Which is again frowned upon by the true colorists. Altering these. So I think that's got an olive colour to it. Has anybody got any questions, guys? Pop them in caps if you've got any questions. Oh, I've got a cloud. I've forgotten about the clouds. There's two there which are olive, and so I'm going to leave that one. I think this one. I think. So thanks for joining me, guys. It's good to be back. I was not having a good morning this morning because I couldn't get anything to work, but hopefully I'll get slightly better. Now I've found my button. I couldn't find the button. I think I'm going to make that one a different colour as well, I think. There isn't a right or wrong way for colour. It's some people are in a bright mood, some people are in a quiet mood. And again, that's the beauty of it. You know, you can, as we've seen Kerby's brought out another book where people have coloured it in. Same pages, completely different. I think I did that with the pumpkin page in one of the new books. Totally different colours, but the same page, because I bought the book accidentally. I bought the same book twice, and because they were single-sided, that helped me. I just need a little bit of the orange. I don't think it was that one really, but it'll be fine. And again, you have to follow Kerby around quite a lot, because you end up with lots and lots and lots of small flowers hiding. If anybody's wants to talk to me, if you pop it in caps, I can read it. Otherwise, I let it pass. Apologies if I've missed anything. And I think I want a bit of a pinky thing going on, I think. One of my favourite colours for the mush toadstools is 50-50 Elysian Crimson and Cadmium Red. It's one of my favourite colours. This is a bit too strong, but it may just be able to have that. Oh, that bit of red just at the top there, I think. Oh, and I've got another butterfly, so I think we're going to have a blue butterfly this time. Oh, thank you. Have I missed the question? Have I missed the question? Was it a question, or have I just caught the tail end of something else? So we've got thingy butterflies. I think we might have I have to have a little bit of a blue flower. Sometimes there used to be like a little bit of a blue flower, but it's not looking terribly good for a blue flower. But I'm going to put the blue with the green. So making a green with this blue transforms it, and this is where you get your real darks. So I think I'm going to put this one in. So cedar green, darker forest greens, cedar greens. These colours can come out now. Ooh. My neck crunched then. Sorry, guys. There we go. Real nice leaf green almost. Oh, I wonder if I'm not in live chat. Have I not got the right? Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. See if I've got the right chat, guys. Doesn't seem to be about. I wish they hadn't messed up chats and things, because it's so annoying when you think you're somewhere and you're somewhere else. Oops. Oh, that's wonderful. Are you colouring? Are you anything nice? Cooking anything nice? Colouring says I'm colouring and cooking. I have been known to stir my teacup with my pencil, but I've got my little pots behind me. I've got two little pots actually. I've got some quite nice rich greens that are going to drop behind that red. I do miss cooking, but I just can't stand up for long enough now. So hubby normally cooks for me, but I'm going to put some rice on there. Oh yeah, caps are okay, because if it's caps, it means you're talking to me and everybody as well. I'm not sure if things get blocked out before we see them, not like the old days. So maybe there's an odd, silly word in there. It gets rather silly at times, I think. So it took me 3 hours to get online today. They've changed. You can't just click and go live, and it took me quite a few hours to solve it. So I wasn't very happy this morning. So I think there might be some odd bits and pieces in there that they're kind of monitoring and doing, or whatever they want to do. Again, you want to be a bit more comfortable, so you've got more chance of staying in the lines if you do this. But the other reason is, if you're comfortable, you can do it for longer. Oh, thank you, Art Mingle. I didn't see anything for me. Have I missed anything? Apologies if I have. Oops. I'm reading chat on my phone. Did you? so I'm trying to keep chat, whereas before it can be quite big right in front of me. So apologies if I've missed anybody. I think I'm just going to go now with this, a different green. Again, you can touch a colour and oh, sorry, we've got Bunny Heather and Heather Bunny. I apologise, guys. Sorry. Oh dear, I didn't realise I was confusing everything so badly there. I apologise. I've had to cancel the, well, we've postponed the art group in the Abbey, but it turned out to a nice little group where people came and had a coffee and a natter and did a little bit of watercolour or colouring. And then somebody turned up who hadn't drawn for years, bought a sketchbook, and then I mentioned the Zentangle, and I say that very loosely. Basically just for therapy, making shapes and then colouring them in, and then doing black and white shapes and then making shapes inside the shapes. But she has looked on the Zentangle websites and things, and she's totally hooked now, and that's really helped her anxieties and things. So we can kind of get over things by using these crafts and these, even if it's a pen, a biro and a scribble pad. Even if it's a lined pad, make the lines into squares, make the squares into something else, and then you can just keep going and going, and it just evolves. If I'd started the other way, I would have had the natural highlight. And this brush will go back to its tip. Again, I've had this brush for years and they work really well. Beautiful pale shades there, really nice. And all on the back of another colour. I go for a moment, but I was wondering, Suzanne. Oh dear, I had a Robert Redford moment, which I shouldn't normally have. Yes, I don't use pencils because my hands are really bad with the arthritis, and you know they look kind of ugly and horrible, and it's difficult for me to hold pens. So this is why I kind of do this. Although having said that, I did buy the Derwent light fast pencils, and dear Melody bought me a beautiful set, and I attempted Alfie, the monster. Oh my goodness, knees have gone, guys. Oh, yeah. I attempted a sketch of the Elf Master. And these Derwent light fast pencils, they are oil based. Now this might be the chair creaking as well as me. And they are oil based, but they're very, I won't say creamy, but if you use this pastel matte paper, it's a bit rough. And it kind of grabs the pencil. So it's not finished at all. It's my first attempt at using these. But I was quite impressed that I don't have to do that kind of motion. Just stroke the page quite wispy, and it will grab what I want. That's your the Alfie buzz. An Alfie buzz for you, Suzanne. I can't use the pencils. I've got other pencils, and I find them difficult to use purely because of the hand. But these weren't too bad. These weren't too bad at all. And it's because if you use them on this almost sand, like very, very fine sandpaper. I don't know what grade it is, this. It's Clairefontaine pastel. I have a bit of a play. But you get different colours in this one. You get greys and a cream colour. But it does have, as you say, a tooth. And because of that, the pencil, it grabs it. But there's only 2 or 3 layers on here. But they're easier to use. Now, I'm not sure about the polychromas or the other pencils, but I do like the Derwents. They are absolutely gorgeous. And it was dear Melody that got me a set of those, and they're absolutely gorgeous. So I did a quick sketch of the Elf Master. I think I sketched him on different paper first time, and then that's my first attempt with those pencils on this paper, and it grabs the pencil, so you stroke it and build a bit of color up. I don't think you have a lot, but it's like the pastels, you can build up and build up and build up, and there comes a point where you can't. But these are oil based. Oh, hi Joey, welcome to Bunny Designs. Anybody else popping in? Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you, 3D art student. Thank you, darling. Hope everybody has a lovely afternoon. Oops, I'm just fiddling about with this. So yeah, pastel matte. I think it works with pastels, but I'm going to bring my pastels upstairs, and so when the big box comes up, I'll be able to do more. But I did wanted to try and get back into a little bit more art, and somebody asked me to do a portrait of their dog, an animal portrait, and I lost all the photographs because I lost on my iPad. So I was really gutted that it's brilliant, the pinch and zoom, and you can see detail, and then it dies on you, and it's like, oh, I hate technology. So we're not doing so badly. It seems to be quite bright. I hope the colours are about right. I think they are. But again, it's the easy way. The easiest way would be touch and go, but then we've done a little bit of mixing and a bit of playing. And again, I like that some are darker than others, and some have gone yellower and some have gone orangier, and we've got pinks and things. Yes, Suzanne, it was 36, and then they brought out another 36, and then they brought out is it 18? 28. It's a set of 28. I bought mine individually, but if you buy them in the different sets, they're cheaper than going. And I hate to say this, but Derwent, it's very expensive going by Derwent. It's not very often I do that because purely cost wise. But there's 100. There's 100 colours, and I do have them in my pencil case, but it's right at the top. But again, I didn't want to make a video of those because then people would have to think that they're going to have to go out and spend a lot of money. And the idea of this is we're doing it to keep ourselves calm, and it's got to be cheap and cheerful. It's got to be easy and quick. It's got to be clean, and this is fairly clean. You know, you might just drop your paintbrush, but that's all you're going to drop. It's almost instantly dry when you've touched it, when you've done it. So it's got quite a lot of things going for it, is this touch and go way. And it's easy to do wherever you are. So if you start something and then you have to go somewhere, you can take it with you. And I just find it's the easiest, simplest way to work. You can be as creative or as just using it for therapy as you want. It doesn't have to be a masterpiece. It's not here to be a masterpiece. It's here to give you enjoyment. It's here to entertain you for a short period of time. And I think that's what colouring should be. It shouldn't be a chore. It shouldn't be a chore. It should be something that you pick up, you do for a little while, you get your fix from it, and then you put it down. I don't know if anybody else finds that. And then the thing to do then is just to keep filling in where you find things. And of course, this is a Kerby, so we're going to find all sorts. I will find all sorts of things we've missed because, oh, that's the blue. And I knew there was a bluebell somewhere. Something very similar to a bluebell, and I've done it red. But I can rectify that, I think. Well, I could have done if I hadn't done that. Oops, it's a bit strong, that. Oopsie. Oh dear, it's Barky Pants time again, although it's not Alf. So I've got a couple of clouds. Now I normally do clouds in a grey. Mine is indigo normally. So, but I'll show you how to make a Payne's grey. So I'm pretty sure that this one is, yeah. So this one is ultramarine. So we'll have ultramarine. We're in our space now. There. There's the Elf Master. It's tea time, guys. If you can hear him in the background. And then we're going to end up brown, which I'm going to put burnt umber. if you can see, I've got a Payne's grey there, but if I take it a step further, I'm going to have indigo. So I've made a very dark indigo blue, which is a couple of steps away from Payne's grey. If you want to make it a little bit bluer, and again, you see now I've overdone it because that, yeah, that's definitely a blue grey there. So that is my cloud colour. That I always do my clouds for some reason. I always do them indigo. So I've made indigo with the same two colours that I make Payne's grey with, but I've got blue in it. If I put slightly more dark nutty brown to it, or umber, a cool brown, a really dark cool brown, it becomes more of a Payne's grey. I'm going to do this next bit here, but as you can see, I have got a couple of big flowers to do, and the snail at the bottom, but most of it I've picked off different. There's a couple of leaves there that I can pick up and fill in. And then if you can't see what's going on at the back, let me just see if I can make that into a bit more of a beautiful dark. It's almost an olive brown, is that? So it's not quite an olive green, it's not quite a brown, it's an olive brown. So again, I've made that by just adding raw umber to my indigo. As I say, from French ultramarine, you can get some amazing colours. And then the cerulean blue is you get your turquoises and things. So you can get a real full range of colours from there. And I think I've got a snail here, so I'm just going to do the snail. And then if I put a touch of yellow to that, I've got another olive colour. Actually, I didn't want to do him olive, but I suppose it looks like good for camouflage. I just put, I think they're all flowers. I thought they were leaves at first, but I'm not sure. Got quite a few stems coming in and out of places. So thanks for joining me, guys. Thanks. It's good to be back. When I finish, I'm going to ring the guys up and see if they'll brighten on a little bit so it can be on all the time. So everybody can keep in touch through this. I'll ask Kerby if he'll send trouble upstairs. So, I've got a couple of larger flowers. So again, sometimes I'll look and think, what have I not got? I've got reds, oranges, I've got pinky reds, I've got purples. I think think I'm going to go for an orangey red, I think. Maybe just... little Barky Pants there is the little dog that we rescued. She will just bark for hours. She's not particularly skittish. She's settled in. At first, she used to carry on like, because she used to go to kind of places like homes that are hotels for dogs, and she was obviously waiting for her owners to come back. But because she'd shown a little bit of aggression towards a child, they were so sorry to get rid of her, but she had to be rehomed. And as she'd settled in here, we were only fostering her, but as she'd settled in with Alfie, and they were like a couple of an old married couple, we thought it would be so unfair to split her up again. But we had no intention of having another dog. We've had enough with Alfie and the big girl, but we just could not bear the thought of this little girl going through all that again and being split up and having to start again in another home. So it was better for the dog to stay where she was and become Alfie's girlfriend. He wanted a sister, he got a girlfriend. Oh, thank you, Pamela. Hi, Pamela. Thank you. Suzanne says, I can't wait to see the troublemaker. Yeah, that's the thing. He's downstairs. We don't know what he's doing. Well, they've opened the cupboard and had some porridge oats everywhere. They ate chocolate last week. And there's a like a chalk. It's like it's an ink, and you put a couple of drops in pasta, cooked pasta, and they obviously woof it down, and it coats the chocolate going through the system, and it's about a £5 for about 5 lots. Whereas normally, if a dog has is eating chocolate, you take it to the vets, and it's so yeah. Somebody stole some. It was we had a hamper for Christmas. Oh, I think I showed it. Beautiful hamper that my daughter bought me for Christmas. And she got the biggest box of Thornton's chocolates. And my middle daughter came down, obviously because the eldest one's living away with her daughter and her partner. And my middle daughter came down and said, oh, can we open these chocolates? And I go, no, we're not opening them yet. And then the next day, they ate the whole box of Thornton's chocolates. So we were in panic mode. But yeah, he's just bad, and he's just bad. He's just naughty. He's taught the dogs when they came here. They were both trained. They both responded to sit, stand, come here, da 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 da. Now they stand and look at you, give you a dirty look, and walk away. He's taught them the deaf ear. He's taught them to just bark constantly, take the stuffing out of things, rip things, eat things, chew things. It's a bit like having an orphanage and you've got a rat bag. He's instead of teaching them the nice things, he's just taught them horrible things. All his naughty things he does. And when he does anything unmentionable on the floor, they look at him as if to say, what are you doing that for? So it won't be long before it'll be, oh, this is where we go, is it? So you might be with a woofer in it, with the elf master. I keep threatening Suzanne she's going to get Alfie in a little wooden crate with a little hat on and a little notice round his neck saying, please look after this naughty boy, because he's terrible. But he is a bad boy. He's just a bad boy. Oh, Suzanne says it's 1 ounce per pound. Yes, well, the vet gave us some, and then the little son so did it again about 2 days later. So, but the others didn't. So and oh no, what he'd eaten raisins. That's another thing. Didn't realize raisins are really bad, and currants are very bad for dogs. They're poisonous. I know they're very bad for me. You see, I've not had a water brush in sight, and it's still doing quite well. It's my little sponge. No, Suzanne. Return of post, I think. I think you'd only have him for a week and then you'd want to get rid of him. I can just say it's a good job we love the little sausage. It's a good job we love him because he's a rat bag. I can't think of what else he's... Oh, he's eaten knickers. He's eaten every pair of my daughter's knickers. And then his new thing, he went through 2 pairs of 40-pound jeans. And then he went into my daughter's bedroom, and well, I did say he should put things away. What else did he eat? He ate something, but and he's done my other daughter's jeans as well, so he's gone through 6 pairs of jeans as well. But yeah, it's just naughty. He just puts a hole in them. It opens the bathroom at the downstairs loo and where the washing is, and just helps himself. He hasn't quite got 9 lives, but yeah, he did headbutt an Arctic lorry, a double-trailered Arctic lorry. He headbutted one, yeah. He shouldn't really be here, but we love him, and it makes life interesting. But I really didn't expect him to teach the other ones to be just so bad. So bad. They were quite well behaved when they came here. They run off down the garden and refuse to come back in. He's the ultimate rat bag, I think. There's just the finishing off to do between the little bits between the little stems and things between, and that little tiny bit down there. And again, that's when it gets a bit like, oh, what's going on there? But I think I found one of those. And then we need that darker grey in the background, I think, for some of these as well. This is the time where we kind of do this. We're just put some dark in there, I think. But then some of the little leaves that we can see will pop out. So again, an afternoon of colouring with, I could have done this on my knee quite easily. Watched a little bit of television. I think the art of conversation is going to come back. So it's lovely to be back, guys. And I had hoped to get my granddaughter live as well. My daughter said that would be fine, and she would be sitting, but she started the squawk. It's her first communication, and she just squawks. Yes, I do have a photograph of him. No, this is it's not perfect, but you can tell he's a cross-eyed lion. That's a drawing. That's a drawing, and he's got funny eyes. He's got wonky eyes, and he's a bad boy. He's a King Charles. He's scruffy. He's not too scruffy, but his feet are always muddy. His belly is always muddy. The other dogs will go out, and there won't be anything on their feet. He'll come in, and he's puddled up to the eyeballs. I lost the photograph of that one because I think that's the one I took. I lost all my photographs on my iPad. I was not a happy bunny, I can tell you. I don't think. bear with me a second. He looks a little bit different now because he's getting old. That was the first photograph we took of him, because he hid behind me. He was behind me. There he is. That's the photograph. That's the first day we got him. He was hiding behind the sofa. He was so frightened of everything. And then this is the bad boy. There he is. Look, there he is. He was down the garden with my daughter. And his eyes are a bit squishy. Oh, sorry. Was I talking about Alfie? Yes, I was talking about Alfie. I think I was. Confused me now. Yeah, I was talking about Alfie being a bad boy, teaching them all how to be naughty. He's teaching them all how to be really bad. But as you can see, this is how shaggy, and I hadn't realised that this is dirt under here. When I was sketching that, I hadn't realised this is muck, because he's a muck toad. Yeah, he's renowned for being a rat bag. He's just so bad, but yet look at him. He's a loss, and that's when my neighbour first got him. You see, he's cross-eyed. I think he's been dropped. He was underweight. He was so underweight when she got him. And this is how bad phones were 7 or 8 years ago. They were so bad with phones, with the cameras. But there he is, a little terror. And he just grew up to be a big terror. There was a bit of him, and he's jumping up at my daughter's tights. And it's the first time we met him. I took her around. I'd gone round, and my friend was working, and we used to go around and let him out. This is him. I'm not allowed on the window ledge. See how fluffy he is. I mean, he should be at Crufts. He's the most fluffiest dog. His feathering is amazing, but we shave him because he's just a mucky boy. He goes down the field and he comes back absolutely mucked up. My daughters had washed him for Mother's Day. But he's a bad boy. He's probably Dennis the Menace in dog form. He is a bad boy. And he doesn't get any better. He's not like, oh, we can train him. He's a bad puppy. But we love him. But he's been terrible since we've stopped him coming up, because I've been having Felicity over. He's just been really naughty, and he's not really missed me. He's not run up and seen me. He definitely hasn't missed me, because it's just he misses being boss of all, because he really thinks he is boss of all. So over the 7 months, I don't think, apart from Snoop Dupes, we haven't acquired any. Oh, I just wondered what that was. It's something or other, and I've collated over, but never mind. So you always do miss things in the Kerbys. There's always something to just miss. I'm going to leave the pearls white, but I think I might put a bit of a darker thing under here to make the pearls stand out a bit. I think that would work quite well. Before they close. So what I'm going to ask them, if they'll boost my signal so it won't drop, and leave the channel open, but it probably will start in a couple of days. I'll see how we can do it. And then when I'm not on, people can still talk to each other, type to each other and things. Because if somebody wakes up at 2 o'clock in the morning in England, there might not be anybody awake in England, and they might not be able to have a bit of a natter if they're feeling a bit ugh. So they might not be able to get up and colour, but at least they can have a bit of a natter online as such. And it's not like we're not friends, if that makes any difference. Does that make sense? I mean, I would hope that we could all just give somebody a bit of inspiration and a bit of support if they're feeling a bit isolated and a bit down in the dumps, when in their own country it's going to be difficult to wake somebody up at 2 in the morning and have a bit of a chatter. Does that make sense, guys? Does that seem plausible? I think the logistics of it works in principle. I just have to have a word with the guys to see if they'll boost the signal, and then it won't drop, because obviously if it's dropped and I'm asleep, I won't know it. So you won't always have me colouring, but you will be able to have a channel open where you can ask if there's anybody out there, and we could ask that during daylight hours people could just bob on and see if there's nobody that's desperate for a natter. What do we think, guys? Do we think that might be possible? Because I think being in England, Australia goes to sleep first and then America wakes up afterwards, and England and Europe's in the middle. So that means any one time of day or night, so any one time of night, there will be somebody during the day at the other side of the planet, probably, or having the lunch or watching a bit of telly, and they could just bob on and make sure that there's nobody at 2 in the morning in England that can't speak to anybody because all their relatives or friends are asleep. I just thought it might be something, as we're all kind of friends anyway, we're all fibbers, aren't we? It's going to be a safe place to come, because I'm just a bit anxious about new things starting, whereas because everybody normally recognizes everybody, we're already a community, we're just spreading it around a bit. Did that come out? Does that make about sense? So even though it'll be a blank screen, it'll be a blank screen, it won't be me talking, you've got the typey thing going. Oh, well, thank you, Suzanne. I don't know about that, but I just thought, as you say, because I know some people pop on before when they say, oh, I can't sleep, so I'm here. So we know it works for that sense, doesn't it? Because it means they can get involved. So I know it's worked in the past, but I think it might be good to say it's open all the time, so everybody can use it if they need to. I think that is a butterfly in it. I'm sure that's a butterfly hiding. I didn't see that the first time I coloured this page. I've coloured this page twice, and I'm sure that's a butterfly. I never noticed it before. So I've almost finished. I do like the white horse. I don't really want to do a background. I always leave the little creatures white. I think there's 4 on this page. Apart from maybe doing a little bit of dark, I think I would say that's finished. So thanks for joining me, guys. I'm going to have a chat with hubby and have a chat with them and see if I can get that up and running. So I might come back a bit later, guys. So thanks for watching the waffly video. I'll go have a chat with hubby and see what I can do, and see if I can do it. Yeah. So thanks for stopping by, guys. Have a lovely afternoon. I might pop back on if there's nobody else on and do the video in the Carla. I've got Carla. Oh gosh, can't remember her name. I've got quite a few. I've got oh, I can't remember her name at all. I've got that some lovely other colour books. Oh, thank you guys. So have a lovely break. I'm just going to have a break and go see hubby. And again, as I say, the lovely thing about this is I've got quite a few colours on there. I can do another one, very pale colours now, so I can leave those and it will do that. So thanks for joining me. Have a lovely afternoon, and I'll probably pop back on for an hour or two. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Have a great afternoon. I have absolutely no idea how to turn it off. Aha. I think that's it.